Hello and welcome to the Funeral Program site. Putting together a funeral program, it's one of the most personal and, let's be honest, one of the most challenging things we can ever do. It's really that final act of love and remembrance. So today, we're going to walk through how to approach this task with all the care and intention it deserves. Because a funeral program isn't just a schedule of events, is it? It's a keepsake. The images you choose, they become this silent language of love and loss, and they offer real comfort long after the service is over. Okay, so let's start with the why. Why do these visuals matter so much? This isn't about creating some perfect magazine-level design. It's about telling a story, the story of a life lived, the values they held, and the love that, well, that's still here. And the visuals we pick? They're the illustrations for that story. Right, so the visuals you pick, they set the entire emotional tone. They can bring a sense of peace. They can celebrate a life of deep faith, or maybe reflect a personality that was just so full of life. And one thing that's really key here is that a single thoughtfully chosen symbol, it almost always speaks louder than a page that's just crowded with decorations. With so many choices out there, this whole process can feel, well, pretty overwhelming. But there is a simple guiding principle that can bring so much clarity and focus to every single decision you have to make. And here it is. The golden rule is purpose. That's it. Every image has to have a meaning. This simple rule helps you focus on what truly matters, and it's a great reminder that simplicity is actually a form of respect. You know, even the empty space on the page has a job to do. It gives the important things room to breathe and lets people really reflect. So this right here, this is the question you need to use as a filter for every choice you make. For every symbol, every flower, every little border you're considering, just stop and ask yourself, does this truly reflect their story? It's a simple question, but it completely shifts your focus from just making things look nice to making them authentic. Alright, now that we have our guiding principle, our North Star really, let's see how it works in the real world. We're going to walk through the main categories of visuals, and this should give you a clear and reliable framework to lean on. For faith-based services, these symbols are often foundational. Whether it's a cross, a Star of David, or beautiful Islamic calligraphy, the most important thing is that it truly aligns with the person's own spirituality. And remember that rule of restraint we talked about? One central symbol on the cover is often so much more powerful than a bunch of them scattered all over the place. You know, nature imagery is incredibly powerful because it's almost universally comforting. It just speaks to peace, to the cycles of life. These kinds of visuals work so well as soft backgrounds or delicate borders. They add this wonderful sense of calm and remind us that life, in some way, always continues. Now this category, this is all about visual metaphors for memory and peace and transition. Think about it. A pathway suggests a journey. A single candle can represent a light that keeps on shining, or a simple infinity sign for eternal love. Their real power is in their subtlety, just a small, quiet element that can evoke so much emotion. And this is where the program gets deeply personal. Whether you're honoring military service, a rich cultural heritage, or a lifelong passion like music or gardening, these details tell their unique story. The key here is subtlety and, really important, accuracy, especially with things like service insignia. And when you're adding photos, just remember, the clip art should be the supporting actor, never the star. Its job is to frame and enhance the photo, not to compete with it. So we've gone through what you might want to include, but it's just as important to talk about what to avoid. Let's cover a few simple guidelines to make sure that the final design feels both timeless and dignified. Okay, these are the most common traps people fall into. First, try to avoid any cartoon style or novelty clip art. It can just feel out of place for such a solemn occasion. Second, steer clear of really bright, saturated colors. They can be a bit jarring and distract from the message. Third, Resist that urge to use too many symbols all at once, because it just creates clutter and weakens the meaning of each one. And finally, avoid those generic visuals that don't have any real personal connection. The goal is always a timeless tribute, and avoiding these mistakes helps keep the focus where it should be, on the person you're honoring. So how do we actually do this? How do we get that sense of timelessness? Well, if you remember just one practical number from all this, let it be this one: 3. Aim for one main visual, maybe on the cover, and then no more than 3 small supporting elements inside. That's it. It's a super simple guideline, but it's really the secret to a design that feels intentional, respectful, and never ever crowded. And that brings us right back to our core idea, doesn't it? Storytelling. Every single choice, from a simple flower to a cross, it's a piece of that story. When you choose with that kind of intention, you're not just designing a document, you're helping to share a legacy and providing a little piece of comfort for everyone there. So the final thought I want to leave you with is this: what story will your tribute tell? By focusing on meaning instead of just decoration, you have the power to create something that's not only beautiful, but more importantly, something that's a true and lasting reflection of a life you cherished. A final loving tribute that people will hold on to and remember for years to come. Hey, I appreciate you being here with me today. Subscribe and share if this was helpful, and I'll see you next time in our next video. Take care, and bye for now.